Do you remember 2020 headlines? Everyone is leaving San Francisco. It honestly felt like the city emptied out overnight. People packed up their Soma apartments, loaded their Teslas, and headed for Austin, Boise, or even just a little further out to Mountain House, Morgan Hill, or Marine. At the time, it made sense. Why pay a $3,500 rent for a tiny studio in SF when that same money could get you a 3-bedroom with a backyard in Austin or a 4-bedroom house in Boise? Even nearby suburbs saw the frenzy. Homes in Mountain House in Morgan Hill that were around $650K pre-pandemic were suddenly pushing close to $1 million. The result? San Francisco's population dropped by about 6% in just 2 years. Over 55,000 people gone. Biggest outflow the city has seen in decades. Hey friends, I'm Sana, your Bay Area real estate guide. I used to be a computer science engineer, and now I help families and professionals find their home that actually fit their lifestyle in this crazy competitive market. And today, we are diving into the real story of San Francisco's mass exodus and the surprising comeback happening right now. So why did people leave? Number one, remote work. If you weren't commuting to Market Street every day, suddenly that overpriced 1-bedroom apartment didn't look so appealing. Number two is the lifestyle. Families wanted space because everybody was bundled up inside their homes. Space became a big priority. People were adopting dogs, starting gardens, and realizing they needed home office. Living in downtown condo during lockdown, that was rough. Number three, uncertainty. Layoffs, small business closing, safety concerns. It just felt very unstable, very anxious times. And then, of course, the cost of living shock. San Francisco was already one of the most expensive cities in the world, and the pandemic made people think, why pay more for less when I can get more for way less somewhere else? So suburbs like Mountain House, Morgan Hill, and Marine exploded. Demand there pushed up prices from 30 to 40% in just 2 years. Meanwhile, in SF, demand dried up. Prices did not climb. They actually dipped a bit. With fewer people wanting to live here and fewer wanting to buy, it was a double whammy for the city. And the consequence, they were brutal. Tourism collapsed. No international visitors, no conventions, no cruise ships pulling into the bay. Union Square storefronts boarded up. Office towers sat empty. Vacancy rates skyrocketed. Companies were subleasing entire floors because no one needed that space anymore. Homelessness became more visible without the daily commuter crowd. And on top of people leaving, there was no inflow either. Travel bans and visa slowdowns meant international students and tech workers weren't arriving like they usually do. It was a perfect storm. A stalled economy, fewer buyers, falling rents, and home values slipping between 2020 and early 2023. For a city that was used to constant appreciation, this was shock to the. But here's where it gets interesting, because the story did not end there. By 2023, things actually started to turn. The city gained about 1,200 people between July of 2022 and July of 2023. Not a flood, but the first sign of positive growth since pandemic hit. By 2024, international migration picked up. Again, executives, students, families all moving back in. Hybrid work became the new normal. Tech and AI companies rolled out back to office mandates, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, if not 5. But that was enough to make commuting matter again. Living in Austin but flying back every other week, not so great anymore. And then came the AI boom. OpenAI in Mission Bay, Anthropic in Soma, Databricks doubling down in the downtown. Together, AI raising over $300 million. In total, more than $29 billion have been invested in Bay Area AI companies this year in 2025 alone. That kind of money creates jobs, and jobs brings people. At the same time, crime rates started to fall down. In fact, 2023 saw the lowest crime levels in over a decade. Conventions returned. Dreamforce Biotech Summit's International Tech Conference, bringing back thousands of visitors back to downtown. Restaurants, hotels, and shops busy again. And let's not forget what makes SF so special. While Texas or Idaho deal with extreme heat, hurricanes, or blizzards, We get mild 65-degree days in July. Add in world-class food, the arts, the culture, walkability, and people remembered why they loved this city in the first place. What does all of this mean for real estate? After basically flatlining from 2020 to 2022, prices turned a corner in late 2023. Single-family homes jumped about 18% year over year, condos climbed around 7%, and in certain pockets like Nob Hill, prices spiked more than 50% in one single year. Mortgage rates, which had been brutal for a while now, are finally easing. Buyers who were sitting out in 2021, 2022 are stepping back in. And competition is heating up again, especially in the family-friendly neighborhoods that never really dipped. Mission Bay, Noe Valley, and Pacific Heights in particular. Let's talk about neighborhoods for a second. With its industrial chic vibe, right next to Mission Bay is holding steady. Median prices are about $1.1 million, basically flat year over year, and price per square foot actually dropped around 17%. And it hasn't popped yet, but given its location next to UCSF and OpenAI, it feels like leaper ready to bounce back. West Portal. It's a totally different story there. Safe streets, great schools, suburban feel, but still in the city, and the prices there are on fire. Median home values are sitting around $2 million, up more than 50% from last year. Noe Valley, always a family favorite, has homes around $2.2 million, up about 12% year over year. And Bernal Heights is at $1.55 million, up about 17%. So citywide prices are rising modestly, but certain neighborhoods are sprinting ahead. If you owned in West Portal, Noe Valley, or Bernal Heights, you have seen big gains. Dogpatch hasn't caught fire yet, but it's positioned right next to AI actions. So here's the story. People left San Francisco during the pandemic, chasing space, affordability, and stability. It hurt the city. Tourism dropped, offices emptied, homelessness became more visible, and home prices stalled. But today, hybrid work, billions in AI investment, international migration, safer streets, and conventions pulling people back. Prices are climbing. Local businesses are thriving, thankfully. And the neighborhoods that combine school, safety, and community are seeing incredible appreciation. San Francisco did not die. It's just reset. And right now, it is staging one of the biggest comebacks in the whole country. If you're thinking about moving back to San Francisco or buying your first home here, I'd love to help you figure out the right neighborhood for your lifestyle, commute, and budget. If this video gave you some clarity, hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more Bay Area market updates and neighborhood deep dives every week. Thank you.